It's the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
"2019 is over, Nick."
Yeah, that year gone. It is actually 2020 as we record this.
It is. Does that make you happy?
I guess. I mean, I don't really.
Okay.
I don't really care. Like, I guess it makes me happy because, like, think about it. This year's gonna suck too.
Yeah. Every suck will have its year. It's how it works.
It sure does.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That sums up our year discussion. Tune in next year.
Yeah, so this is our year-end discussion. Every year we do a top 5, bottom 1 list of the movies we've seen this year. So our top 5 favorites and the one we hated the most.
And yes, let's reiterate that. The ones that we have seen, we are not film critics by any means. As far as we have not seen every single horror movie that is out. We haven't watched every horror movie that's on Shudder and Netflix and Prime and Disney Plus and Criterion and whatever else there is. We don't have the time to watch everything. Well, I got time to watch. I do have time to watch cool stuff and things too. Not that horror isn't cool, but we just one omission this year will be Doctor Sleep because it left theaters faster than whale shit.
Right.
It would be one, for instance.
I wasn't able to see it. You weren't able to see it. What could we possibly have done?
I got the Blu-ray pre-ordered, but I gotta wait till February. So if you want my updated lists, there you have it. But list, as you know, with myself, most of my movies are very interchangeable as far as top 5. It's just 5 movies that I really enjoyed the shit out of. Now, next episode, we're doing a top decade one, so that'll be fun to do.
The episode of my dreams. I got to go back to 2011 and find the clip of myself saying I really want the best of the decade episode at the end of the decade because it's finally happening. It's finally happening. It's just me and Jack left standing. That's it. And man, I can't wait.
This has been a long. You think about it. This decade was the start of us doing this stupid show and the other stupid show.
And we were lucky because with our podcasting, we really, well, I mean, we'll talk about this in the next decade episode, but man, like horror came back so hard this decade that it's wonderful, right?
Yep. Yes, it did. It came back for better and worse. So,
although I think this might have been the weakest year for new horror movies.
I agree.
There was still a handful of good ones, but I mean, compared to like what we've gotten over the past decade, I just feel like these are a lot of like even in my top 5, I feel like there's a lot of like B+ to A- movies making the top 5, whereas in previous years we would have like 5 A+. How do you choose between these guys? You know what I mean? So let's talk about our movies. Let's. Do we have a sound to play, or are we just going to talk about them?
Sure. Here you go. Okay, so top 5.
I really hope you put a sound there and didn't just leave silence.
Oh, you never know with me.
Okay.
Depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Top 5. 5 to 1. That's what I want to do.
Yes. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
All right.
My number 5 movie of the year, and I'm pretty sure about this. Number 5 could have been any of like maybe 4 or 5 different movies, but I'm picking this one. It's Happy Death Day 2 U, the sequel to Happy Death Day. I'm years behind on these movies. I only just saw the original when it came on HBO Go in like November. And then I just saw Happy Death Day 2 U when it followed like around the same time. So I just saw these 2 movies back to back, and they're both really good. The Happy Death Day 2 U came out this year. Man, what a good inventive sort of semi-sci-fi slasher movie. Totally fun to watch. Still funny, humorous. I'd say humorous and clever, not funny. Like you're not laughing your balls off at it, but there's definitely funny parts. And you don't hate the characters and you don't want them all to die, you know? Really smart stuff. I mean, they do die, but you feel something about these characters instead of just disdain like you do in many slashers. Even up to this day, there are so many slashers that make the mistake of, making you hate all the characters for no reason because they're gonna die anyway. Nah, dude, make me like them and feel bad about them dying.
That's the poser director who's only seen the sequels of of the major horror franchise or slasher franchises. That's what those series became. They don't revert back to the original. What made them very good to begin with, and then it just becomes let's kill everybody who's an asshole. And then,
but I didn't actually describe the movie, so just real quick in case if you haven't seen Happy Death Day to You or its predecessor, they both are like Groundhog Day horror movies where it's like somebody keeps living through their day and gets killed by a slasher killer every time, and then they have to figure out what did I do wrong and work backwards from there. So it's pretty fun.
And the main character has a character arc. That's a really good one too.
Yeah, the first one was still better, but the second one, good. Mm-hmm. So what was your number 5 movie of the year 2019?
My number 5 movie is the movie you will never see, and it's called Crawl.
I will not watch that movie because
you're an asshole. That's why. I already answered it for you. You're an asshole. No. I can edit this to where you could say, "I'll tell you why I didn't watch this. 'Cause I'm an asshole." There you go.
I had to be so careful about what I'm saying now because I might use that string of words in opposing sentences. But yes, it's about a sea creature, right? And I don't watch
it's not about a sea creature.
Oh, it's about a swamp creature.
No, it's about a hurricane that hits Florida, and it fills the state up with, well, not the state, but like Tampa or whatever, fills it up with flooding, and it happens just when this girl is going to see her dad and get her dad out of Dodge, but he's kind of stuck in the basement, and there's a gator down there, and he's in the crawl space, let's say. Not the basement, the crawl space of the house. And that's what sets up the rest of the movie, and it's not just one gator. There are lots of them, and they like eating people. So it's a very simple movie, and that's what I liked about it. There's some shoddy CGI, of course, but it's really cool. And the dad is played by Barry Pepper, who I haven't seen for quite some time, and he's really good in it. Yeah, it's mostly just a survival movie.
Who directed that one? I forgot. You might have just said it.
Alexander Aja.
Aja. Yes, he did make the only sea creature movie I like other than Jaws, which is Piranha. Mm-hmm. So.
See?
Oh, it doesn't mean I'm watching his alligator movie. No, I don't watch sea creature movies.
It's not a sea creature.
They could have fucking left Florida. They could have evacuated.
That's
with everyone
what they're trying to do, asshole.
Nope,
this is why you're an asshole. You're like the guy that goes, well, if they didn't go to the summer camp, where fucking Jason's mom was, then they wouldn't be fucking there.
No, I'm not. Because people want to enjoy amusement areas.
They want to enjoy the water too. People like to swim, asshole.
The water comes into the house.
Yeah, it does. And she went there to help him fucking get out of there. Christ. Hey.
Anyway.
It's like talking to the wall. What's your number 4?
Number 4 is actually a movie that is much more of a Jack movie than it is a Nick movie. So the Jack movie that I really enjoyed is A Knife Plus Heart, which is available on Shudder. And
it's one I forgot.
You forgot that one?
Not in a bad way. It was really great, and it should have been on my list, but
you forgot.
No, I really enjoyed it. But you know what happened? I also watched Cruising shortly thereafter, which
Well, we should explain
Yeah,
what
go on.
Knife Plus Heart is first.
Please,
It's like
yes.
how it's like a throwback movie to early '80s.
It's
uh,
a giallo movie that's based on a gay porn.
right, and
For real, that's
don't
what it is. Yeah.
don't let that deter you.
No, no.
It's pretty good. It was
Yeah.
pretty great. I mean, it is filmed in such a way that it looks like it is seriously 1980 in this movie. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's in French, so be ready to read some subtitles. But if you get Shudder, you can already just watch it. I mean, it's just so so authentic that it's fun to watch, but also it doesn't feel like I don't know how to describe it. It's like one of those movies that nails being really familiar but not being exactly like the old stuff. And then I kind of liked it more because I'm not super into older giallo stuff, and I enjoyed this one a bunch. So that's where I am. Haha. Really good.
Yeah, I definitely really enjoyed it. I put it on my top 5 as well, but it's one that it didn't like. I wouldn't say I forgot it, but I forgot to put it on the list, kind of thing. Because you have to whittle it down to 5. But I created a very quick short list, but I have seen a lot of movies that like that. It's on Shudder, and a lot of times when I stream movies, I tend to forget them, only because it's not mine, if you will. I don't have it in my hands, and if I don't have it in my hands and I can't see it, well, then I tend to forget about it. Except for like The Babysitter, that movie. Mick G, I'm telling you, he should have directed every horror movie, but they didn't give him that chance. So there's that. I heard there's a sequel to that, but it's without Samara Weaving, so I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
My number 4
You're number 4.
is The Prodigy. Not the band, but the movie.
Which one was that?
That was the one that has the little kid from it that gets eaten in the sewer.
Okay.
Yeah.
The kid who played Georgie or whatever.
Yeah, Georgie. Yes.
And what? It's not about Georgie.
Yeah, it's about Georgie after he gets his arm ripped off by it. How he survives and becomes a prodigy.
I think you unnecessarily linked these movies in your brain.
No, dude, that kid is really great in this flick.
So he becomes a child. So there's a child killer.
Child killer movie. Yeah, it's the Kid from Hell type of film, except it's not your typical plot, and it opens with something that has no correlation to what you're expecting at all. It opens with a serial killer and a girl who escapes a serial killer's house, and then that's where I'm going to stop right there. But the twist of the movie that happens is kind of foretold, and as you're watching, you're like, no. And then you go, okay, this is different. And then the end just kicks you right in the ass. So that's what's kind of cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to ruin it because it's just got an ass-kicking ending. Yeah, it's pretty good. So I would definitely recommend it because it's one of the quiet movies that are really good. That's all. That's all I got. Nick, 3.
Yeah.
Give me your tree.
Number 3 already.
Yeah.
We're like blowing through this.
I know.
We gotta
Well, we got
it's 'cause-
people.
Do you know what it is?
respond.
It's because when our lists are similar, we both end up talking about the movies a whole lot. But when we're just pulling out like all these different movies,
I think
it sounds like way different.
I think our top 3 is going to be quite different this year, and I think we're gonna have some fighting words. But go on.
You didn't even see 2 of the movies I'm about to talk about.
All right, go ahead.
As far as I know, unless you saw the movie that my number 3, which is Bliss.
No, I didn't see Bliss.
Okay, so Bliss is this decent sort of a vampire movie. I would say it's a vampire movie, yes. You know how I am about vampire movies. I feel the opposite about them as I do about sea creature movies, and big monkey movies. I really enjoy vampire movies. So Bliss is about an artist living in LA who goes to a party, meets some people who she doesn't know what happens because she has a bad time, and then it turns out, oops, you're a vampire, and it's kind of goes from there. Anyway, it's very stylistic, and I'm big on style over substance, and this movie is much more style than substance. A lot of wonderful neon lit scenes and some psychedelic adventures of the girl, and it's all stuff that I really enjoy. And I don't even have much more to say about it. I mean, it's got plenty of blood, plenty of vampire stuff. This is a movie that I would compare to the old tabletop role-playing game that's actually making a comeback now, Vampire the Masquerade. It definitely feels like it fits into that sort of gothic punk type of horror aesthetic that they always told the narratives for that book in, and it felt like it could have been something that you would read in one of the books from that series, whether you read the fiction or the fiction within the guidebooks. I always really enjoyed that vampire fiction, so this fits right in with that and is really cool and really wonderful, and ends up I can't talk about the ending here, but I enjoyed the ending as well. So if you watch it, you know what I'm saying. Wink.
Martindale or...
What?
Sorry. Now that there is a stupid joke that only old fucking people like me would get. I don't know why I just said that, but I always say whenever I hear Wink. Wink Martindale was a game show host, in case you didn't know that.
Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, number 3 for me. And you're going to be like, wait, what?
Is it a monkey movie?
No, it's Midsummer.
Oh, okay. Why would I be like, what?
I thought because a lot of people would be like, it's not your number 1? What? I've been hearing that quite a bit. Even though, just looking at other people's lists, I hate them. It's like, why isn't it your number 1? It's like, well, it depends on how a motherfucker felt that day. Midsummer I thought was really great, actually. And goddamn beautiful movie to look at. It's long, of course. Aster does not know how to stop writing and directing, but the same happened with Hereditary. I think Hereditary was rather long for what it was. But Midsummer, actually, the length of it doesn't really hinder it necessarily. It's a really good movie. It's very tense, and it has a lot of different movies wrapped up in one, but doesn't feel like it's ripping any of them off at all, including Wicker Man, which a lot of people accuse it as. It's like, no, Wicker Man's a totally different movie. Not the Nicolas Cage one, the original. I think that the cast is superb. Everything about it is great. The gore, it's very minimal, but when it hits, it hits. It's and it's depressing as fuck, in a way. So, but in a good way. It's not like a you want to kill yourself kind of movie.
Well, it might be, depending on the type of grief you're currently experiencing. Midsummer is actually my number 2. So it is I agree with you. I think it's a really good movie. I don't think it quite has the resonance or staying power as, some of the other movies that were a little bit better than it earlier this decade, like It Follows or something like that I enjoyed a lot more. And perhaps because they are a lot quicker. Like with Midsummer, I kind of feel like rewatching it would be a bit of a chore because it is over 2 hours. I think it's 2.5. Yeah. And there's a lot of story in the movie, both with characters and with well, I mean, in case you don't know about it, it's a bunch of grad students go to observe a festival in like this rural, isolated part of somewhere in Scandinavia. I can't remember if it was actually Norway or Sweden, but it's, you know, one of them countries, and the Northlands of Europe, and it is just, yeah, totally really well done, like all around really well done. Could it have been tightened up? Sure. Could it, you know what it does really good though? It goes all the way with its whole premise. Like any other movie like this would be about like, and then those guys the kids outsmarted these you know, the people killing everyone in this cult, and they got away.
But they
and
do
this
it.
movie.
It's not a tame movie too, and that's what I fucking really appreciated about it. Like, there are so many horror movies anymore. Do you get the same feeling too, where it's just like you're watching a drama unfold, and it's a very boring drama with they're afraid to call it a horror movie?
At times, yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, that'll be one of my worst of movies. It's exactly that problem.
But it's very tame, and they're almost like it's. I'm not trying to compare it to sex here, but it's like you're watching a porno movie with like the best porno actor and actress, and you're like, these two are gonna totally fuck, and then they just sit there and drink coffee and bitch about the world and stuff. And then they, like, do a couple nipple twists, and then the movie's over. And you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Why did that happen? I was promised fucking, and I didn't get it. That's what a lot of horror feels like now. It feels like a lot of posers, not saying all fucking 2019 movies before you get your, you know, underwear in a bunch. They all feel, a lot of them, I should say, feel very reserved and afraid to take chances. But the ones that do take chances, that's all they got. They just got the bullshit chance that they want to take without any plot.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a bunch of gore and a hammer smashing a head. Awesome. What's the movie about? Well, you know, there's some kids, and they're rough and rugged.
I honestly felt a lot like that way about the Rabid remake from the Soska twins. Not a terrible movie. It was definitely watchable, but it was like, you know, tons of drama floating around this person's life. And okay, there's also a slight zombie outbreak. I mean, I can say that because it's in the original movie that from the 70s. But you know, and this one had a heavy focus on the drama of the girl's life. And I mean, the original did too, to some extent, but there was a good balance. And I felt like this one was slightly out of balance in that regard. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. I'm not saying it was a bad movie, but I'm saying I understand what you're saying in the context of the problems you were just talking about. But Midsommar does not really suffer from that. Like, no. I feel like any of the gore in it is really earned. A lot of the shock and horror is just people seeing actually horrible things happening in front of them and then responding to it, which is
correct.
Pretty cool.
And the characters are fucking good. All the characters have, like, they're all dynamic. They all have their own personality. They all don't sound the same. And there are real problems that are dealt with in the movie, which makes it cool. That's why I liked it. It's like, watch it, and it's in beautiful, sunny, like, beautiful grass and shit, and seeing these people dealing with all that. That's what makes the movie really cool, too.
Also, a lot of hidden stuff in the movie that, I mean, you cannot possibly catch on the first time around. It's pretty much the hidden type of stuff that people have to point out to you, like, oh, look at in the background, that painting foreshadows the end of the movie in the third scene. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it doesn't just foreshadow it easily. It foreshadows it because it is actually a painting of a Norwegian folk tale that this movie mirrors, and like all this like weird stuff. And then other times it's like, oh, and here's CGI of dead people in the background that you missed the first time. Oops.
Yep. And the bullshit that he doesn't do in that movie is open with the ending. And then you have to suffer through the rest of the fucking movie to get to the same ending you already saw at the beginning.
Yep.
So thank you for not doing that.
I feel like I see that a lot less in movies, that trope of we start at the ending where everything is horrible and then we get to that ending. I feel like I see that a lot less, but it's a lot more annoying when it does happen.
Fucking so annoying. It's just everybody there. The main thing, as we have said ad nauseum, or at least I have, where there are too many filmmakers trying to make the same fucking movie without an original voice. It's like we all grew up with fucking videotapes and video stores, and then we're all trying to recapture that magic, but that magic has passed. And there's like this new thing where there's so much content and everybody's trying to make a statement, but they're also trying to mimic what they saw and trying to force it upon the youngsters' throats now. And the youngsters are like, we don't want this bullshit. We want our bullshit. And it's just, there's still a disconnect where it feels like people are making movies where they're afraid to, either they don't have the talent or they're afraid to give you what you want and what they actually want deep down inside because they're afraid of doing it, you know? I don't know. Speaking of, do you want to know my number 2?
Your number 2, please.
My number 2 is a movie that doesn't give a fuck what you think. They're here to make a fun movie, make it violent, make you laugh, and make you enjoy all the characters too. And I just watched it recently. Nick, you know what it is?
Oh man, is it my number 1?
Ready or Not.
Oh, it's not my number 1 at all. It didn't make my top 5.
You piece of shit. No,
actually, this is one of the ones that probably would have been like number 5. Like you could easily switch it out with Happy Death Day too.
It's so much fun. It's just
very much
fun, stupid movie. I was not looking forward to it until I found out Radio Silence was doing it. And yeah, I like Samara Weaving. I absolutely loved her in The Babysitter. She is just as good in this, and you can't tell it's the same girl, except for her face. But she plays 2 totally different roles in both of those films. Mm-hmm. And in this one, she is more reserved and just like, what the hell's going on? Whereas in The Babysitter, she's like an evil bitch. Absolutely so much fun. And it's quick. In and out in like an hour and a half. And I'm not going to throw up any spoilers or anything. It's just a fun, stupid movie. And it's
that you wouldn't expect to be fun either. It looked like shit from the trailers, and it was only in theaters for like 2 weeks. It got kind of good reviews, but it was good.
It looked like Would You Rather, but with hide and seek. And Would You Rather, I absolutely enjoyed, but it's a one-timer. Like, that kind of movie you can watch once, maybe twice if somebody else hasn't seen it. They're like, have you seen Would You Rather? And they're like, no. Mm-hmm. And you put it on the TV and you're like, oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was cool. And then that's it. You know, and you feel like shit at the end of it, and then you move on. This one, I see myself watching it repeatedly. Right after I watched it, I put on the commentary with Radio Silence and Samara Weaving. And she does look just like her uncle. I mean, in the different... with the eyes and her mouth. Is
she actually related to Hugo Weaving?
Yeah, that's his niece.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think she looks like... Now, you don't know who the one person I'm about to name, but it's pretty much exactly... No, you don't. She looks like Margot Kidder... not Margot Kidder.
I know Margot Kidder.
The other Margot.
Margot.
Fuck.
Polo?
No, not Margot. What's her fucking name? Oh,
I don't know. You said I don't know her.
Oh, no. I don't know her. No. Margot Robbie. Excuse me. I said Margot Kidder. I meant Margot Robbie.
Of course I know Margot Robbie.
Yeah, you do, but you don't know who Alexa Bliss is. But if you put the two of them together...
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. We went to school together.
Alexa Bliss, the pro wrestler.
Oh, God damn it. See, now that you have mentioned that, Alexa is talking. Way to go.
No, Alexa Bliss, the WWE wrestler. If you mix their two, I'll send you a picture of her later. Their
No,
two
you don't have to.
faces
We went to school
together. Shut up.
We
If
went
you
to
went to school
different
together with her,
We went to different
Yeah,
schools
shut
together.
yeah, different schools in different states in different decades.
Together.
Shut.
We both went
So
to high
anyway.
school.
Samara Weaving, yeah, and in Ready to Not, Ready or Not, there are a couple of times.
Are you
where
ready
you
to
can
not? Here's some rope.
Shut up!
Tie it up.
Shut up! You can hear her fucking Australian accent coming out like over and over again
You know,
in some of.
you're really good at weaving, I hear.
Really?
You're a fucking
That's what-
dumbass that said ready to not.
Ready to Not. Oh man, that is actually funnier now that you showed me what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway,
Stupid.
can I tell you what my favorite movie was?
You
Or
can.
Do you want to hear it? All right, I'll
Yes,
tell you.
I want to hear it. Do
This
you want a
movie
drum roll?
also is on Shudder. Now, no. Hang
Okay.
on. Now, people who listen from around the world might say, "Hey, that's not a 2019 movie." But my rule for 2019 movies is they had to have been released for real in America,
Oh.
not played at a festival. What?
And this ties into that. Before you mention it, I do want to thank a lot of, podcasts and horror sites. They kind of caught wind of a lot of people saying, "Go fuck yourself with your bullshit list of movies we haven't even seen yet."
Mm-hmm.
For my favorites of 2019 that I saw at this festival like 8 months ago, but it's not coming out till February of 2020. They ain't doing that. A lot of them have not, that I've noticed, have not done that. So thank you. Go on, Nick.
Really? Because see, that's exactly why I stopped reading like top 10 sites of like on Bloody Disgusting at the end of the year, because we used to read them on the show, if you recall, and we would be like, this movie didn't come out yet. So that basically they would have like 7 movies that haven't come out to the general public yet, and then 3 that came out on video or something, right? Yeah, my list is shit that came out this year for real, not something you saw at a festival, not something that was released internationally, but only, not in America. It's got to be a wide enough release that people could reasonably see it, which is what finally happened when One Cut of the Dead came out on Shudder this year and finally actually released in America.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, you know what? It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun horror comedy that is like super light on the horror once it gets going, but it is just a fun movie, and like I can't even tell you anything about the movie. It is it Korean or Japanese? Fuck, I don't know. I'll look it up. I should have known before this show if I was a prepared guy.
You are racist. That's it. Everybody's going to complain now. The show's dope. All right. See you guys in another show. It'll be the Jack Show.
Japanese. Oh, yeah. You'd be canceled in a week. And I don't mean canceled like taken off the air. I mean like you'd say something stupid and then the internet mobs will be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
It'll happen. They'll come for all of us, my friend. So yeah, anyway, it was Japanese. I'm sorry I said couldn't remember if it was that or Korean. But I believe it was even released in Korea before it ever made it to America. So yeah, technically a 2017 movie, but only released in America September of this year. And I don't even know what more I could tell you about it. Let me just read to you the description, and then that will be it, okay? This is the basic description. Things go badly for a hack director and film crew shooting a low-budget zombie film in an abandoned World War II Japanese facility when they are attacked by real zombies. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, Jack, you got to see this movie because
I know.
There will be shit in it that you fucking love and think is wonderful, and you will love it.
I know.
And everybody listening, see this movie. If you don't have Shudder, sign up for Shudder, see this movie, and then turn it off. So yeah.
I know.
I can't tell you any more about it because it would actually ruin the movie.
I know. I'm gonna see it. You're not gonna believe my number one.
Okay, let me see if I can even guess your number one.
All right, please go ahead, try.
It's not any of the ones I've already named. I doubt
No.
it would. I actually have. All right, I'm going to take two guesses.
Let me just say it.
Was it? All right, just say it.
It's Us.
Oh, duh! Of course, it's Us. I should have guessed that one first instead of the other one I was going to guess.
Because you remember my
not...
text after I watched it, right?
You wanted to make love to the movie.
I did not say that. I said I fucking love this movie. Absolutely. No, it was great.
I knew the word love was involved.
This one has love. And I love all these movies I'm talking about. But yeah, it's people listening to this, you fucking know Us, and if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's fun. You may like it. The thing I really liked about it was I didn't get to see it until it hit Blu-ray because I couldn't make it out to the theater. Getting out to the theater anymore for me is I get like one day off a week, and I'm normally sleeping or doing house stuff. So I expected it to be some doppelganger movie, and that's what I got out of the trailer, and that's kind of what it is in a way. But then when I watched it, and it had that, it was filmed in the same place as Lost Boys, I was like, wow, this feels kind of retro, but not totally. And then when the real movie began and it took a turn, I absolutely just fell in love with it. I just couldn't wait to just see people get killed left and right. Mm-hmm. And the family is just, they're all really good. Lupita is a wonderful actress in this. She plays great duo roles. Everybody is, even the husband, dude from whatchamacallit, is terrifying. What's his name? From the comedy show.
Are you talking about Jordan Peele?
Tim and Eric.
I didn't know what you meant. Yeah. You said the comedy show.
Yeah, that comedy show. Well, the funny thing is, I found out that Jordan Peele really did not want to do the comedy show with Key. He was more into horror and wanted to do dramatic movies and dramatic writing more than anything else. But kind of like he didn't necessarily get roped into it, but he kind of like got stuck with it, and he just went with it because it was becoming, a thing. And then when it was time to end, they ended, and then that's why he went and did Get Out, and thankfully that became a success because I really enjoyed Us a lot. Like, I wanted to watch it again after I watched it. Like, if it had that summer movie feeling of going to a boardwalk theme park, or not, a boardwalk, beach, whatever, and then shit's going bad, and it felt very claustrophobic and just really weird, really, really weird movie. And that's why I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was very original too, more so than anything else released this year, I would say.
I don't know if I could make that type of comparison, but yes, it's very, very original. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed Us a lot too. It was one of the ones that I had to cut from my top 5 just because I don't know if I really want to rewatch that one a whole lot, but I still really enjoyed it as well. So I have like nothing bad to say about it other than once the movie ends, if you think about it for a little and you pull at that ending, it'll kind of fall apart for you. So just don't think about it too much.
I thought about it a lot, and then that's what made me want to watch it again.
I'm just saying. So you know how people are. They start thinking about stuff that you're not supposed to think about because it's just a movie.
It's a movie, yes.
And then what happens? You know what happens.
They go on the internet and they go, I fucking hated this movie.
Right. You mean to tell me the whole time he was dead from the beginning?
I hated this movie. That's how I could see. That's how they put that in there when they're typing on their phones. I hated this movie.
Yeah.
I
So,
need validation for my shitty opinion. Speaking of hating movies, we have the
I know.
worst.
Do you want to say
think
your
we have-
worst first?
Yeah, I
since
think
you since you did your best first, or best second, whatever.
I think we both have the same movie.
Really?
I
I
have
would
a
be
feeling.
shocked. I would be
It-
shocked because I don't think you saw this movie.
Oh, okay, then it's not. We don't have the same one. My pick is, and it's kind of sad to say this, because I like the directors, and I like the content. It's the Pet Sematary remake.
Oof, yeah. Man,
Because-
that was one of the worst movies this year. Absolutely, I really hated it. Go, talk.
I bought it too. I bought the goddamn Blu-ray. Yeah. I was excited to watch it because I'm like, how can you fuck up Pet Sematary? Well,
Exactly.
I found out by watching it.
Hey,
Reasons are, I think that there must have been a lot of intervening with edits. There are smash cuts in here that destroy the entire movie. It also feels like, hey, we saw the Mary Lambert directed one. You guys did too. So we're going to reference that movie in this one, but we're retelling the story our own way, but we're really not. But when we reference something, we're going to say, just like Family Guy, do you remember that time when you saw that? Remember your sister Zelda? Oh yeah, I remember Zelda. And then they show Zelda like all curled up and then crawling on the floor because it's really scary. And then that's it.
mm-hmm.
And then fucking Zelda in the Lambert movie is fucking terrifying. Like, my girlfriend, who was a strong woman, can't watch that movie because of that scene. Still, to this day. And I'm like, it's a movie. And she's like, fuck you. E.T. scares the fuck out of me, and that bitch scares the fuck out of me. I ain't watching it. But that still holds up. But here's a case in point. What made my balls itch when I was watching this? And this saying is not a spoiler. This happens in the beginning of the first act of the movie. John Lithgow is playing Fred Gwynn's role of Judd. And he's a curmudgeon, old, angry, pissed off guy, right? And, the new family moves in next door, and he's around, and he doesn't even put on an accent or anything. He's just like, hi, I'm John Lithgow. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. Blah. That's basically his character in this. Unlike the Judd in the book. Fine, whatever, that's your choice. However, the daughter goes over to the house and just walks into this guy's house and starts fucking around with shit. And then I believe it was a gun that she found or something. And he goes, you shouldn't go sneaking around people's houses. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, God damn it. And he gets all mad, and then all of a sudden, smash cut. He's at her birthday party with the family next door, and they're all getting along. I'm like, what? When the fuck?
That part, I was like, I remember just being like, what the hell is going on here? Now they're all buddies?
Yeah. Like, imagine Nick and I, just the two of us right now are like, Nick, you know what? I absolutely loved Pet Sematary remake. And then you would go,
you remember that time that your Aunt Zelda fell down the stairs?
No. You would start going, what are you, fucking stupid? And I'll say, what do you mean I'm fucking stupid? It's my choice. I thought it was a great movie. You're a fucking moron. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, hi, this is Jack and Nick. Nick, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, and it's a bit different voice, and it's raining now.
Yeah, it's a smash cut that makes... It showed me right then and there, whoever edited this movie was not on the fucking set and didn't read the script and probably took really shitty notes from somebody way up above. It said, hey, yeah, let's cut out all that shit and just go right to it. We want to get to the horror, because that's what the kids want. They want the horror. Well, boy, oh boy. That sucked. That just kicked me right in the nuts. I'm like, wow. The rest of this movie is going to... And sure enough, it's almost like, hey, Nick, why did chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side in some haphazard way.
No, what's your worst movie?
My worst movie?
See, that's how Pet Sematary is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like, okay, let's just smash cut to the end. Go.
There was also a lot of really unnecessary changes from the original that are like, oh, they already saw the original, so we don't want to do the same thing here as what happens in the original. We're going to change it up a little.
Right.
And the change ups that they make to these pivotal parts of the movie are worse than what was in the original movie. Like, if you're going to change something up in the sequel, it has to, or in the remake, it has to be much better than what happens in the original.
Right.
One movie that does that in many ways is the Evil Dead remake. There is such ridiculous shit that like goes way, way, way over the top at times in the remake. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking specifically of the ending. Which, I mean, you've had 5 years to see it. There's a big blood rain and people getting chainsawed in the mouth and shit. And that justifies every change that they made in that whole movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But this is not that. And I mean, like, John Lithgow is not that great in this movie.
He's a great actor.
But he's not
amazing
actor. He's not great in this movie.
It's almost like, I gotta be in this piece of shit. Okay, fine, fuck it. What's the lines?
Right.
It's like this is John Lithgow in this movie. You ready? HP Desk Chat 2600 all-in-one series. Need help? www.hp.com. Support.
Are you reading
DJ.
Off of a manual on your desk?
I am. 1. Power. Press to turn the printer on or off. 2. Control panel display. Indicate number of copies, wireless status,
Enough.
and signal strength.
Stop it, Lithgow. Stop it.
And now all of a sudden it's and safety information. That's
anyway.
The smash cut of it. Terrible. I'm just so mad. I'm mad at that movie. The book that they go, oh yeah, we're gonna base our movie on your book, on the book more. No, they didn't.
Yeah, it's not like an F- of a movie, but it is just like a horrible disappointment because dude. I mean, like, there's no reason in the fucking world that Pet Sematary remake should be worse than Pet Sematary 2, but here we are.
Yeah.
Like, that was an easy one. It was easy one.
Pet
Easy
Sematary
one.
2 is a bad movie. It's
and
bad.
I mean, obviously, I love Starry Eyes. That's the directors made the same movie, and they did not do anything good in this one. So fuck that movie.
Yeah.
Can I say fuck that movie to one more?
Yes, you can, please.
I actually saw a handful of movies worse than Pet Sematary 2, and I probably could only name a few of them, but I'm only here to name one, a movie that is called a horror movie, and it is kind of because there are creatures in it. And I hated this movie. Like, I always have high hopes when I see that there's like a weird existential horror movie that may or may not be happening. What?
I know which one this is.
Do you want to take a guess?
Yeah, they're not people or whatever the fuck it is. Is that the one?
Still wrong. No, I don't know what They're Not People. I don't think that's the right title. But it's not that. It is not. It is one that you probably won't think of because there's virtually no buzz about this movie after it came out, and except for some people who are like, "Oh, this movie's a masterpiece," and it's not. The movie is Starfish.
Oh yeah, you told me about this one.
Starfish is it's a science fiction introspective horror movie, and it is not good. It is okay. So this girl, her friend dies. She goes to the funeral for it, and then for some reason she sleeps at this friend's house, and like the backstory of her and the friend's friendship falling apart plays on throughout the movie, and you learn more and more about it. Meanwhile, she goes to sleep and wakes up, and the apocalypse happened. Oops. And there are creatures now that are eating people on the streets, and also her, but she's got a walkie-talkie that's picking up these frequencies from a radio tower that is the code from like the elders or the aliens or whatever. I don't even know, to like save the world if they could just figure out this code. And let me tell you, this movie is so boring, and like confusing for the sake of being confusing. It is pretentious, smelling your own farts garbage. There is a scene in this movie, and I will reveal it here. I'm about to spoil the movie Starfish. There's a scene where the girl is having all these different hallucinations, and one of them is that she's on a movie set conferring with the director over the script for the movie Starfish. And she's like reading the script of the movie that as she watches her actress self talk to the director about the movie, and then she's like snaps back to reality in quotes in the movie and stuff. Like so pretentious. It is absolute garbage. I couldn't deal with it. It is on its surface really simple, a sci-fi horror story. The world ended and there are monsters chasing you now. Kind of a Silent Hill-esque thing. And then on the other side, it is trying so hard to be this deep, introspective, existential movie. We're just trying to get the signals and patterns from the system so that we could just live here, man. And no, bad, so bad. I hated, like, once the scene happened where the director is talking to the actress in the movie as part of the movie, I was like, if there was a table in front of me, I would have flipped it. Like I can't. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. F-. So, yeah, that movie, and it should have been good because it's like an existential, weird, psychedelic and hallucinations movie. Okay, I'll watch that. No.
Can we bring back your infamous line for not liking a movie? In the Dracula
movie. Fuck this movie. Oh, no.
Continuing.
It's so bad. It is so bad.
Use only the power cord and power adapter if provided, supplied by HP.
No, it was so bad, dude. It's so bad. And I mean, it's like I can't even tell you more about that movie because it's just so bad, so dumb.
I just pictured
it's a huge waste of time.
The cape. Starfish sounds like another one of those things that, like, let me just refresh you here. All right, so here's a person in like 1994. No, 1996. Let's say, or 5 for that matter. Hey, what do you do? Oh, well, I'm working here, but I'm actually a filmmaker. I have a film coming out I just directed. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Let's go to about 2019 now. Hey, what are you doing? Well, I'm living at home, and, I work at a coffee shop. But I'm making a film now. I am a director. Oh, really? What have you made? Well, it's not funded yet, but you can go on my Indiegogo and give me money for it, and then that'll help me support it. That's great. Oh, you have a good day, bud. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks, man. Good luck with the movie thing. That's basically sums up every fucking film director now, because everybody wants to be a film director. It's like, oh, you're in a rock band? Yeah, man. That's awesome. What are you guys playing? You're in a rock band? Okay. Yeah. It's like, oh, what's the name of the movie you made? Oh, it's called Starfish. Starfish. Do I know that one? No. Absolutely not. What's the name of the movie you made? Well, Pet Sematary. Oh, the remake? Yeah. Oh, okay, fuck off. All right, I'm going to go over here.
Oh man!
My apologies to this.
So you want to take you want to take a quick break here, and then we'll talk about
listener picks.
The listener picks. We had some people write in with their favorite and least favorite movies of 2019. So
and you just put this up today, yes? Just so that
I did,
people,
so we didn't.
so we don't look like
Right.
losers.
We only got
yeah, where like everybody goes, "Ooh, these guys got like 2 or 3 replies or 1. They must suck." It's
Right.
like, well, no, we're absolutely really popular because you see, on our show, what we do is we do this. Number 4, cancel. X, press to stop the current operation. We read
Please.
the
Please.
test check manual.
No. But anyway, these yes, we only got a handful because I literally just posted these things like 2 or 3 hours ago. So,
Yeah. So
at any
hopefully
rate,
we'll be
let's
done- we'll be
listen
done
to
in
our
less than 2
limited
to 3
responses.
Yes, limited responses. And if we didn't get to yours, we apologize. All right, so this is from the listeners. We first heard from a person by the name of Cole. That's my dog. Apologies. My first person is Cole Antonovich. He says, "Hey guys, Cole from the Joe Blow Horror Show here. Shameless plug. Is that the show? Shameless plug? That would be a good name for a podcast. Shameless plug.
I believe it's the Joe Blow.
Yeah, I
Horror
know,
Show.
but wouldn't that be a good name for a podcast? Go ahead, somebody rip that off, please. Just the Shameless Plug Podcast. How could you not say that's a fucking great name? That's a great name.
Because I don't have a podcast about butt plugs.
Yeah, but if you get one, now you can.
I shall not be doing so.
All right. So, Cole from the Joe Blow Horror Show. Trust me, you're not plugging anything shamelessly here. We're the ones that should be plugging on your show.
Oh my god.
Midsummer has got to be number 1 for me, and I had high hopes for The Dead Don't Die, but was very disappointed. The humor just didn't work for me. So, another one for Midsummer, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And The Dead Don't Die, I actually saw, and I would also put that probably if we did the top 10, it actually would have made my top 10.
Wow.
I was a little disappointed, but I also still really enjoyed it. I didn't strongly enjoy it, like love it, watch it again and again, but I enjoyed that it was like this weird, dumb movie. I enjoy weird, dumb movies. And The Dead Don't Die is Jim Jarmusch zombie movie. It is weird and plotting, and it's not even a movie I would recommend to people because it's just like I liked it because I'm an idiot. So if you're an idiot, watch the fucking movie. I don't know what the god damn it.
Sean Kelly Jr. He wrote, enjoyed Daniel Isn't Real, Us, and The Lighthouse. And he said, however, I found that the movies I liked most this year were not quite horror, but within the genre. Parasite, for instance, I fucking loved. I haven't seen Parasite yet. I'll be seeing that at the end of this month or next month.
Okay, cool.
Daniel Isn't Real. I know you
all
haven't.
right, yeah.
Either,
First
right?
up, Daniel Isn't Real. I haven't seen that one either. I don't know. Is that one actually available on VOD yet, or is that
it's on,
in LA only type thing?
I think it's on Shudder. No.
Oh, no, it's not on Shudder. I would know because I looked the other day.
I'm gonna look right
at
now.
Shudder.
I'm gonna look right now.
Okay, go look. Go look right now.
Go ahead, you fucking piece of shit.
Okay. Anyway, Daniel Isn't Real. I'd like to see that one.
You know what?
and
It's
Us was
not.
good.
It's not on Shudder.
I know.
But you know what? It's on iTunes. And so on
Fuck
iTunes.
iTunes. Who the hell has iTunes? Apple
You can
users.
rent it.
Anyway,
Fucking twat.
yeah. And so, on iTunes, great. The Lighthouse and Parasite are 2 sort of high-profile art house horror type movies that I am yet to see because I did not have time to catch either. They were both playing in November at the same time at the theater, and I couldn't make it to that one time. They each had one showing at the theater near me. I was really pissed. So I didn't catch those movies.
The Lighthouse is made by the dude that made The Witch, which had me really excited.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll see it eventually. I'll get there.
Yep.
You know, I had to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like 5 times this year, and that took up a lot of time. Sorry. Favorite movie of the year, by the way. But that blows away everything for me. Sorry.
Are we talking about our non-horror movies that we enjoyed too?
Only one. No, I can't.
Okay, I'll tell you. All right, I'll tell you one, and it's not even my favorite non-horror movie of the year, but it is probably my second favorite. It's John Wick 3: Parabellum. Go watch that.
Okay, I'll watch that. After I watch 2.
Back to.
All right, the list.
You didn't see 2?
No, I have seen 1. Ulysses William. Now, he wrote a big ordered list of 2019 horror films that he has seen. He wrote 23 movies. Ulysses, we're not going to read all 23. However, we're going to read your number 23.
I will read
1.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will absolutely read your long post,
on the Facebook page.
To myself.
Yes. Read it, listeners, dear listeners, please go to the Jack and Nick Horror Show page on Facebook. Like it if you want. And you can read Ulysses' entire dissertation on all the movies. Now, I'm going to read his number 23 and his explanation. I'm going to do it really fast, and if I talk too fast, you can slow it down on your podcast app there. Okay, here we go. You ready? Dog, are you ready? Okay, everybody's ready. Number 23.
I'm ready.
His least favorite is It Chapter 2. Lost in the discussion of the unexpected smash hit that was the first chapter in 2017 was that the source novel, Stephen King's It, has a lot of dumb shit in it. Most of the good stuff happens when the characters are kids, so now we're left with a rehash. The adult versions of the characters each get their own interaction with Pennywise, who is remarkably terrible at killing people. The grand finale takes place in the same place as the first movie, but now it has spider legs, because King threw in some of the gentle turtle that rules the universe and the ancient Indian customs into his cocaine-fueled bloated nightmare. We get to have the acknowledgement of those here too, while basically resorting to having our protagonist succeed in the style of The Little Engine That Could. A truly dreadful experience and one of the very worst films I've seen in a movie theater. And then his number 1, which we will comment on number...
No, wait. I want to talk about It Chapter 2, because we actually haven't talked about it on this show
Correct,
yet.
Yeah.
And I only just saw it last week.
Same with me.
And, dude...
I watched it back to back.
Now, you see, seeing it not in the theater, thank fucking God. Because if I saw that movie in the theater, I would be so mad. Like, I watched it at home. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't hate it nearly as much as he did here. But if I had to sit in a movie theater for 2.5 hours just going, come on, just end already, I would have been pissed off, dude. So I totally understand that. That is not a movie to see in the theater, in my opinion.
You know, a lot of it is kind of like the book. It's obviously it's based on it, but a lot of it is like one of my, like, I really like Stephen King, but some of his efforts where he was on cocaine and all that, it's like that guy at the party that just won't shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like the one that just keeps on going on and on and on, and all he has to say is point A to point B, but he's taking all these zigzags and shit, and you're just like, dude, can you get to the fucking point? That's what one problem I have with Stephen King. That was the problem I had with the Book of Christine compared to the movie. The movie actually showed you the perfect, easy plot of it and dumbed it down so that it's like, here's this stupid movie about a car that eats people, and it's a great movie. But, you know, the book is like, okay, and then after he kills this one, there's a zombie of that person in the back seat, and that one's going to have a 20-minute conversation with it. It's like, Jesus, come on, just stop it.
Yeah, and in a lot of bad Stephen King adaptations, they follow those loose threads. Like the ones that are good, cut down the loose threads that you don't need and just give you the story. You know what I mean?
Right.
And It Chapter 1 was very much cutting down everything that didn't need to exist in that movie, leaving in some of the weird things that come out of nowhere. And it was a concise movie that could have stood alone. Didn't need a Chapter 2. and chapter 2 is where basically everything that was like cut from the book comes back. I guess I don't know. I didn't read the book.
Well, I did.
But I've heard a lot of it.
Yeah, I did, and I read it in high school. The funny thing is that when it goes back and forth, like from when they're adults to when they're kids, and the plot is a little bit more seamless that way. Because what happens to them as adults, it'll revert back to when they're kids, and then you understand why they are the way they are. Really cool. I wish they would edit it to like one full cohesive movie that way, and then maybe. But I thought it was a cool movie. I liked it. I didn't hate it as much as him at all. I didn't hate it. I thought it was what's his name was really great in it. Bill Hader was really good. James Ransom was really great. So I don't know.
It was definitely. I would say it wasn't bad, but it was not something I ever want to see again.
It wasn't the first one.
Like
no.
if I ever want to watch. No, if I ever want to watch it again, I'm never watching it 2 again. I'll just watch the first one.
Right.
Like, it almost is kind of like the Freddy 2 of, like, imagine they only made 2 Nightmare on Elms. No, imagine they only made 2, okay?
And it's number
imagine
1
they only
and
made
Freddy's
2.
dead. Right?
No, it's number 1 and number 5. Let's say that, okay?
Nah, Dream Child's
and it's
good.
like...
It has some cool...
Not as good as the first. Anyway, if they were the only 2, you would look at it very differently. So his number 1, you can skip ahead now.
The Lighthouse. If you get past the fact that it's a square, there's a really good movie in here with the best performance of Willem Dafoe's career. It's about a lighthouse with 2 drunks in it, and the light up top contains the Krabby Patty secret formula.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I'll be in
look,
John Lithgow's voice. I'll
SpongeBob.
read you the recipe for.
Don't you goddamn dare! So yeah, the Lighthouse. I totally want to see. I don't even know what to say about it because I didn't see it. So
Yeah, me either. Please do read the Twitter stuff.
So what about the
Twitter stuff.
the Twitter stuff? Okay,
Yeah,
no, there's another one, isn't there?
No, it's it.
No, wait, we got them all. Okay,
got 'em all,
here
yeah.
comes the.
I'm
the
really
people who
fast. So I
responded
can
on
read
Twitter.
stuff fast. Very good.
All right. Well, I'm telling the people. Yeah, it's only a handful because I just put it out like a little while ago. Anyway, from @Mick_boss, an old time listener of us. Thanks for sticking around for so long. We have he said
Son of a bitch.
favorite was probably Bliss.
Yeah.
Which I said the vampire movie, or maybe Tigers Are Not Afraid. Hard to choose. Did you see Tigers Are Not Afraid?
No.
I did. It is.
Yes.
I think that one was either on. No, I think it was on Shudder. Tigers Are Not Afraid is about children who are the survivors of gang violence in like the drug war destroyed Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of about some stuff that goes on with them that may or may not be supernatural going on in their blown out ghettos as they try and survive. Pretty good movie. Not great, but like definitely worth a watch if you see it. So I could see that. And he said his least favorite is Tricky, as I avoided everything I thought looked terrible last year. You know what? So did I. I tried, except for Starfish and also the movie Slice, which sucked balls. Anyway, back to his tweet and not my asides. I guess I could say It Chapter 2 wasn't as great as Chapter 1, so that was a little disappointing, but not bad. Yes, we just covered that.
Yeah.
Next tweet.
Sorry.
From
Thanks,
@Carrot. Sorry. Did you have anything to add about Bliss or maybe Tigers Are Not Afraid or what?
No.
No?
No, I'm good.
Okay, here comes the next one. Everybody ready? @Caracaz88 said, "Fave was Little Monsters, cute, fun zombie nonsense that made me really happy." And I'm sorry, I totally disagree. I didn't like that movie at all. It's on Hulu.
And
You
it
can
is
watch
on
it.
Hulu.
if
I
you want.
did. I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I said, "Fuck this movie." No, the reason I didn't, I felt like I was watching Three to Tango with Matthew Perry and Nev Campbell. Like, it's whoever edited this movie too and started it, and like they show you the trailer and you're like, okay, cool, I can't wait to see that movie. And then you see two assholes yelling at each other, two hipster douchebag people just yelling at each other, have a kid, and then they play this shitty jazz music from like a 1999 movie that, you know, after the height of the swingers era, not swinging couples, swingers like with Jon Favreau, where it's like all big band music. It didn't fit the fucking movie I wanted to watch for me, and I said, nope, I'm tapping out. I don't care about this long-haired asshole. I don't care about his wife who's having sex with this person. I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah, it was.
Not that I'll give
it's
it
one
a
of the-
shot. If you say it's good, I'll give it a shot, but I'm going to skip past the first 20, 30 minutes of it.
No, I was definitely turned off right away by the characters because they're terrible. Like, you're introduced to a bunch of terrible people that are not just like bad people, but that might have a good side. They are abrasive and annoying and repulsive characters that I was just like, if I knew this person in real life, I wouldn't write a story about how this person was actually the hero. I wouldn't even talk about them. Like, just fuck them. I don't know. So sorry, Kaz.
Sorry,
Disagree.
Kaz. My apologies.
But hang on. Least favorite was Midsummer, just not for me. Don't get that Ari Aster guy. Also, there's probably a bad reason to bash the movie, but it seemed to be responsible for the terrible elevated horror phrase that I hate. I could see someone saying that Midsummer is not for them. That's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Because maybe that is something that I should have said about Midsummer. I think I might even have said it in our episode reviewing it.
I can see people saying that about us too. Any fucking movie that it's like everybody has their likes and dislikes. Your opinion is not etched in stone, and that's the final answer for everything. So just opinions. That's all they are.
Yeah,
we all suck.
I think we covered everything we could possibly talk about 2019 related, as we are recording this on the second day of 2020.
Yep.
And I feel pretty good about it. Not the best year in horror. And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, there's nothing good in horror anymore. Like, who put out that awful tweet that was bait? It was flame bait, and I went for it, and everybody else went for it too. I think it was some nonprofit, and it's good that I don't remember the name, but it was a nonprofit horror museum from Los Angeles.
Oh, those assholes. Yeah.
Yeah, that put out a tweet that was like, guys, why is it that there's no good horror movies this past decade? I mean, everything is just remakes and supernatural stuff.
Didn't they say since like the 70s or 80s?
Oh, yeah. They actually said there's been nothing good the past 15 years. Like, what? Dude, who? Like, what have you been watching that you didn't see any good ones, right? And then people would come back at them with lists in tweets of like, It Follows and The Babadook and all these movies that came out this decade, and they just be like, yeah, but we mean other than that, there's like no good movies.
Yeah, well, they retracted everything too. They were like, oh, it was misinterpreted. It's like, no, it wasn't.
Right. It wasn't misinterpreted. You guys are just douches.
It's like going on Twitter and writing, who wants to see my dick? And then everybody's like, nobody? What are you talking about? Ew, you're disgusting. Guys, this was misinterpreted. I meant my penis. Who wants to see my penis? Dumbasses. I'm sorry. People, you know what, the elevated horror thing, I can understand where that's annoying. You know what's annoying for me in this 2019? Hot take. If people would stop that, please. And
it would help.
And please, for the love of fuck, please stop it with the name this movie. Wrong answers only. That's how I picture them typing it.
That's not going away. That's going to be a thing until we die, I'm sure.
I fucking hope it dies this year. There's that, and what's the other one that really pisses me off? I can't think of it. But there's a lot. You know, it's funny. I keep going back and forth with Twitter and Facebook. Like, Facebook became, like, very political to the point of, like, I don't even want to look at it. But I've already, like, muted all that shit. So now it's not so bad when, like, people are complaining about, like, you know, their hair and stuff. And, like, taking bikini shots and stuff at a beach. And I'm like, it looks like you're having a good time. Especially when they're guys. But then you go on Twitter and everybody seems to get along and stuff. And everybody's having a good time. But then one person fucks up. And then, boom, that's it. It's over. Fucking hate everybody. I hate you. I hate you. I hate everything. Mm-hmm. Life sucks. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm barely using social media, both parts. I just not in the mood. I try to save all my creative energy for myself.
I understand. I'm actually using Twitter less these days because all I ended up using it for is to yell about wrestling, and I still, tweet every day.
Yeah.
But I'm tweeting less there overall, which is good for me. Yeah. And actually, like, dude, here's the funny thing. I tweet there less, but now only my good ideas make it there, and I get, like, way more retweets on the stuff I'm putting out. Right. So everybody consider that, okay?
Yeah.
But also this, I pretty much switched over to using Discord a lot now, which is, like, basically, like, almost like a private chat room with people that you get invited to be talking to. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm only using it to talk about wrestling. And I mean, it's so much nicer to have like a curated group of people that you're just talking to instead of like you're talking to like if I talked to Jack on Twitter, we'd be like, hey man, you see this movie? And he'd be like, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Somebody else would come in and be like, actually, it's racist because like that sort of shit is not what I need in my life right now. And I'm trying to wean myself ever so slowly from all things like that. Facebook, I have not posted to Facebook for all of 2019. I did it, Jack. I made it.
Congrats. I do have something to reach out to people who are filmmakers who are more famous than all of us. This year in 2020, make this your resolution. When you are interviewed about any other film or any film genre, just go, oh, yeah, it's great. That's your canned answer for everything. What do you think of Marvel movies? Yeah, they're great. What about Star Wars? Yeah, it's great. Love it. Yeah, sure. Why not? What do you think about porn? Porn? Great. Awesome. Love it. That's it. Because if you fucking say you don't like one of those things, people will hate you for the rest of your life. You can't have an opinion anymore. Your opinion means that you're going to have thousands or millions of people mad at you. And they will not shut the fuck up about it.
Oh, like, dude, I read the perfect tweet the other day. It was like, every day on Twitter, there's one main character. And the way you play this game is don't be the main character. Like...
Yep.
Just don't be the main character on Twitter. And it could happen, sadly, to anyone. Like, you could just say the wrong thing and accidentally be the main character.
I saw it happen to Joe Bob Briggs. People turned on him fast as fuck from his tweet. He tweeted the thing about, how the political agenda wasn't, like, the forefront of the plot. They were just like... And that's what he's been saying since Monster Vision, where he's like, even with Silence of the Lambs, he complained about it on there. He's like, they call it a thriller or a drama with thrilling elements. And he's like, why don't you just call it a dang horror movie? That's what it is, That's what he's getting at. But that doesn't come across on Twitter, and that's the problem. People misinterpret texts all the time. How many times have you had an argument with somebody over a fucking text and you're like, no, that's not what I meant? It's the same shit that happens with Twitter. Not those horror museum idiots. They actually said, hey, I'm going to show you my dick, and they were wrong. But like,
I don't think they actually said that.
No, but that's like the easy way to explain everything. It sums it all up. But yeah, something like that where, he gets everybody's like, "Oh, I love you, Joe Bob. Oh my God, you're bringing my childhood back. Oh, I love you so much." And then he's like, "Hey, it would be cool." He's talking about Black Christmas remake. He was just like, it would be cool if they would just release, a movie and say, "Here's a horror movie," and then you go watch it, and holy fuck, dude, the torch just came out. Fuck you, you piece of shit. And these are people that were watching The Last Drive-In all season long and tweeting along and having a good time, and then all of a sudden, boom, they fucking turn on you. It's like a fucking dog that you think is great, and then you look at him wrong, and then he wants to bite your face off. Like, it's just, and it's misinterpreted, People just need to calm the fuck down. Like, I don't know. That's why I'm staying away from that shit. I can't take people.
Yeah, don't get our show canceled over here, okay?
I'm not gonna get her show canceled. I didn't say anything like that. I just, hey, what is it? Little Monsters, great, love it. That's great. Awesome. Pet Sematary, great, love it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that other one? Starfish.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Somebody made a movie.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the one
opinions were shared.
That's the one thing that always bothers me with film criticism. Well, you may not have liked it, but they made a movie. Right? You've heard that from people before. Yeah. Shit, people used to say it on our old show all the time. Well, you know what? They made a movie, and I haven't made a movie. Therefore, they did something better than me. It's like, you know what? I also went to a restaurant, and they made dinner, and it tasted like garbage. And I said, nope.
Right.
I don't fucking want this. It's not good.
Man. That's like this. There's this one guy, and this will be the last thing I talk about. And yes, it's a wrestling thing. There's this guy who just posts videos to Twitter. His name is Superhuman, right? And he looks like a guy who.
Oh yeah, we went to school.
What? No, you might have, because he looks like he's from the backwoods somewhere, and he's clearly looks like mentally ill. As it is in these fucking videos, right? But every video is just him, and he gives a little speech, and then he jumps onto like a bunch of barbed wire or a trash can or a bunch of light bulbs or something like that, and he puts in the description that he's like imitating wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. And he became infamous amongst wrestling fans, right? And he gives his stupid speech at the beginning, and then he yells "fuck this shit" and jumps through a bunch of light bulbs. And he'll say he's doing it like, Macho Man Randy Savage elbow style or something, right? Like he's dropping an elbow off the top rope. Mm-hmm. And this got he became too notorious and started getting booked on wrestling shows, and people were like, wait a minute here, he can't even wrestle, he's just a guy doing this in his backyard. Mm-hmm. And people stood up for him, saying, and I literally saw this defense today online of him, dude, he's just doing what he loves, you can't talk bad about that. Like okay,
I love pooping, right? No, I don't, but you know what? It's like, if everybody got paid to do what they love, there would be no jobs to support the country. Yeah. That's kind of what's happening right now, in case you didn't know.
I mean, yeah. So if somebody's doing something that they love, you can't criticize them, even if they didn't go to school to learn how to do it properly.
Because
go fuck yourself.
They're just doing it, man. They're just doing it.
Oh my God. Trying to live.
One
what did you do today? What did you do?
I fucking worked a lot, and I'm extremely tired.
Final story. We have to end the show.
Demolition Man, right? You know how nowadays you can't be negative about anything? You have to be positive and just be positive at all times. Do you have a feeling that we're really turning into the Demolition Man world? We're pretty
Jack,
sure.
I got to tell you something that is shocking.
Yes.
On New Year's Eve, my wife and I watched Demolition Man, and I said the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you know? I didn't even tell you.
No, you didn't. It's one of the things. I just constantly see it where people are berating people for, just saying, not the people that are like throwing banners up on Facebook like, I hate this movie, and they want everybody to go, yes. I see one person in particular, not naming names, they post all the time how much they hate this movie, how much they hate that movie, they hate this movie. This person sells illegal fucking movies, bootlegs. And they complain about the bootlegs that they sell. And they're like,
give me a break.
Yeah, and it's like, you fucking hypocrite. Like, what good are you doing? That I understand, where you're like, you know what, dude, you need to chill the fuck out and just stop posting about how much you don't like a movie. That I get.
Right.
The shit where, like, you have a discussion, and this is on every fucking horror group. Any of the listeners will fucking attest to this. It's like, I saw this movie. Thoughts? It's like, okay, life? Thoughts? Like, what the fuck? What are you getting out of it?
At least
But if you have constructive criticism, like, here's why I didn't like this movie, and, hey, you liked it, but I didn't, but I understand why you did, but, because, this is a discussion we're having, and you're back and forth. Cool. That's awesome. But if you are constructive and somebody says, no, you know what, we have to remain positive at all times. It's like, fuck you. This is not the Disney store, okay? Everything's not rosy where you walk in, they're like, hi, how are you? What can I help you with? Because you're fucking putting on a front and you're being fake. Stop being fake. Be real. Be yourself. Stop trying to be other people. God damn it. Make yourself better.
Time for me to...
Eat a dick if you want. Who cares? Just do what you want. Just stop being a fucking asshole.
So long as you're doing what you love.
Yeah. If you want to eat a dick, fucking make sure it's cooked. No, okay.
Oh my god.
But you know what I mean now.
Please.
Everybody's being
follow us.
Overtly positive about shit they don't need to be positive about. You can have some negativity in your life. It's okay.
Even us, because we literally are only negative like when we talk at the end of the year about our bottom one. Otherwise, we don't fly off the handle at all anymore. So we even have been victims of it without even realizing it. And that is exactly how Demolition Man happens.
Yeah.
Is that you correct yourself without even realizing you're a part of the system now.
Right. Well, in a sense,
that's why we stopped.
But no. We're not sitting here like going, hi, everybody. Hi, Nick. I saw a movie. I didn't like it, but we're not going to talk about that. No, and I still thought it was a great movie. Oh, yes. Yes, Nick. Nick, you there? Nick?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, you sound sad. Why are you so sad and glum, Nick?
Yeah. No. Enjoying life.
We're real about our fucking opinions. We're not trying to impress other people with our bullshit opinions. And that's what people do. They try to impress people, they coach you up, and then they let you down. That's true. That's a good note to leave on. Thanks for listening to our shitty fucking show. Yes,
2019 shit show.
Yep, great. Yep. Yeah. So, in closing, if you want to do a color copy or a black copy, what you're going to do is press start to. Okay. Nick, good night. Follow Nick on Twitter at New Jersey Nick. Follow me tweet Jack Built, and follow our page, Jack and Nick Horror Show, the Jack and Nick Horror Show, because there's only one on the Facebook
next episode.
Yeah, next episode we're doing top 10 of the decade. Is that what it is? Top 10, bottom 5?
Top 10, bottom 5.
We should do top 20, but it's okay. All right. Good night.
It's okay. We got to cut it down.
We have to cut it down. We have to make it short. All right. We love everybody. We love even the people that hate us. No, we don't. And, see? That's me not being positive to make people happy. I love you. Nick, I love you.
All right. We did it.
Not really. I put up with you.
I know. See that Han Solo reference? There you go.
Uh-huh. No, but
Okay,
I didn't
good
say.
night.
I would have said Nick, and then it would have been silent, and then you say